Thank you. If you can hold off on the music for a couple minutes, please. Thank you. Black Lives Matter. When I said race is relational, what I meant is people are racialized in relation to other people who have power, like Mexicans, like black people. Where I'm from, in California, working class Mexican Americans resented the Mexicans who came from South California to shop for designer clothes. They were rude and treated the working class and poor and undocumented Mexican Americans as bad as the Anglos, which is what we call the white people, who may or may not have hated Mexicans, who worked with a few of them anyways. Thank you. Apparently too much of San Francisco was not there in the first place. This dream requires more condemned Africans, more condemned Latinos. State violence rises down. Still life is just getting warmed up. Army life is looking for a new church and ignored all other suggestions. Folktale writers have not made up their minds as to who is going to be their friends. This is the worst downtown yet, and I borrowed a cigarette everywhere. Or the way condemned Africans fought their way back to the ocean, only to find waves of burned up 1920 piano parts, European backdoor deals, and red flowers for widows who spend all nights mumbling about San Francisco. This poem is about Paris, and it's about where the Arabs live in Paris, in Barbès. It's in this kind of space I can deal with defensive souls. Sometimes you have to take offense at why we're looking at each other in the mirror of a barbershop across a suspicious police station. Reality, it is that what hurts you. Reality, it hurts to afford this plane ticket to Paris. Why are you in Paris, Algerians? Why are you in Paris? This taste makes you desperate. You're playing your Arabic music too loud. Maybe Islam is not the answer. Maybe it's barbershops that gives hope to young Algerians. Work and brotherhood. 4 Algerian men, some more or less frantic about life. The French are no good, they tell me. All day is not that complicated in Paris, just reinforcing our childish ways and cementing our adulthood careers. A little Algerian flag drapes across the corner next to scissors and clippers. Look around. We are at least 3 kilometers from Sacré-Cœur Church. At least too many generations away from pretty French women who don't want to sit with us, to have coffee with you, waiting for you to lose that Arabic. Starving angels will eventually eat the delicacies of a voluptuous dessert. I tell her, possibly California is a myth. Possibly this romantic relationship is making me more drunk than Mexican workers swimming in their jaded hopes of freedom. Short brown men that contrast sharply with American men yelling at them. California Latina tells me, the love will fall and fall. I tell her, you push your cages down the world. She applies a thick layer of makeup. Possibly, you can see that the puncher puts the gun to his head. And I tell her, I had a dream of Hugo Chavez. There's a moment when Hugo Chavez is running around Port-au-Prince, Haiti. As a hero, he understood how to transform a society. She tells me, how does it make you feel? How does it make you feel to believe in men who are fighting for freedom? Always men. She wraps herself in tamale leaves, her back to mine. Su espalda atrás de la mía. ¿Por qué dices estas cosas? ¿Por qué crees en los hombres? Why don't you believe in America, at least in California? I tell her, I'm leaving California to Europe so I can write about these sweet memories from far away. We need to break up. I tell her, I ride to Spain around midnight, after sunset, enough time to go to Reina Sofia, to watch Pablo Picasso's Guernica, enough time to drink wine and put myself in the embrace of a woman that never sought out exploitation. Sometimes history is an aphrodisiac. Seduced by memory. 1. My family traces its origins to Jalisco, Mexico. My grandfather was illiterate, but knew how to read the corn. I'm glad I still remember Mexico that way. I'm glad I remember humility that way. I'm proud to deserve to be seduced by my memory. My memory lets it beat into it like a piñata. I think I could still play you my favorite music as the world goes to hell. I can get on an airplane for another country again. I can speak almost 3 languages. I can make you laugh. I can sleep in that woman's bed again. I can live in Chile again. I can listen to Miles Davis in the park while drinking $1 wine again. I can write to you about how I woke up every day at 5 in the morning to wash dishes for white people who would never want to talk to me. I can fake it till I make it. I can email Noam Chomsky again. I can meditate again. I can remind myself that California won't change again. Pero puedo recordar que California nunca va a cambiar otra vez. I can laugh at hardship. I can move to Amsterdam like my friend tells me to. I can run down the Mission District in San Francisco, 24th Street in Mission, with loud music, Santana, Carlos Santana, all over the place. And there's a group of men in 16th and Mission, and none of them has jobs, so none of them is actually there. I can fall in love with her again, that Latina. I can speak Spanish always. I can use the diminutive and not take life so seriously. The subject in reference to various sites. 2. I think I understood what it meant to be Mexican when I was 5 years old. Being Mexican translated into being drunk, a false sense of hope in California, and the trunk running out of gasoline and walking along the highways. Gang violence made my brother take a gun to school every day. Gang violence made my brother take a gun every day to school. There was nothing romantic about it. It's like trying to convince me that there's something romantic about being Arab in France. There's nothing romantic about being Mexican in California. 3, I am glad I am in Europe now. 4, I don't stay in my place. 5, how I felt sneaking my memory across the barbed wire of lust. I don't know where I just came from. Sometimes you have to reflect and think, wow, I'm a working class Latino and I'm in Europe. As I lie on my friend's couch in San Francisco, he tells me, Latinos are the most nostalgic people. He puts a video of some protest on the TV, and his girlfriend, being one of the only Mexican-American poets, feminist, women of color poets, lights up a blunt. Every day they wake up around 9 in the morning. They start to talk about how fucked up the world is. It brings them closer. I can be hurt by the realities of the world. 6. My family would always send clothes back to Mexico in cardboard boxes for Christmas. It was a matter of time before all my family did. My poetry is specific to my culture. Never did I try to make it European because I live in Europe. They reply with indifference. Somewhere in Latin America, hay una latina con quien me puedo casar para que me cuide. The rich people playing violins, having orgies, while she and I are celibate. The white people toasted to their wine. Is that why tortillas are covered in gasoline? A bunch of upside-down Latinos ready to hop in an airplane. She even made it across customs. Or how I felt when I got detained for 3 hours in the Ottawa airports. Are you a drug dealer? No. Are you carrying a bomb on you, says the cop in San Francisco. No, I'm going to university. How do you rate our city? Go off to have sex with women with higher social mobility, with white women. You want us to pretend that there will be a sequel. We laughed the other night when the city in your hemisphere trembled. Many souls left, ranging from 5,000 to 45,000. Ciudad de México, 1986, los enamorados se fueron y toda la ciudad se derrumbó. Notes of Latin America and California. Walking around Buenos Aires, and seeing the Via Miseria was deeply disturbing. What I enjoyed so much about Santiago de Chile was the riots. I could tell the people there still experience trauma from the Pinochet regime. Seeing the most beautiful sunsets. I would like to develop a clear economic analysis of what is happening in Latin America to make sense of my connection from San Francisco to Latin America. The mountains of La Paz, Bolivia, at first sight, left me without breath. In Oakland, when will the black and brown plight end? I am upset at seeing up mattresses on the side of streets, buildings littered with bullet holes and syringes, 77th and International, East Oakland, Fruitvale. That's where we the brown and black people live. I don't like seeing black women suffering from the effects of this bullshit patriarchal and capitalist culture. Patriarchy and capitalism will fuck until the world goes blurry to them. Capitalism and patriarchy, fuck, and racism didn't check up on me because when I was born there was hammers in my cradle. Buenos Aires and Chile gave me something to gossip about. Mexico City, para de masturbarte and pay attention to the children's shiny shoes. San Francisco, the Tenderloin is full of people who want to grab a bite to eat, to live in a hotel not fit for human habitation. When I used to visit the unemployment office, everyone was black or brown. Everyone was speaking Spanish. Everyone was an immigrant. San Francisco, I miss the Mission District. LA, I've never seen so much grittiness as I did when I was 21, walking along Skid Row. 7,000 people in the streets, 7,000 people that didn't make it. Paris, I like walking around your streets at 5 in the morning in freezing February weather, listening to Violeta Parra. New York City, I enjoy hanging out with you and some of your friends, and you told me that you're too busy, so you have to go to the revolution. You said you were too busy. You even had a copy of Open Veins of Latin America on your bookshelf. I enjoyed hanging out with you and going to the squats, and you are the reason the world is burning though. I can't sleep in the same city as the devil. I can't sleep in the same city as the devil. Considering the Mexican Americans, like me, made it, is an understatement. Considering the Mexican immigrants sang to the Beatles in 1970s California restaurants, is a fact. My father was one, and your father, if you look like me, probably did too. It's only about 5 world giants that dictate the sensibilities one will have towards life. So everyone ran off to France. So James Baldwin ran off to France. Nina Simone knew that nobody in the audience could empathize with her. As if global culture knew what to do with these great idols. Most art and music was accessible to those that looked like them. Basquiat was busy painting like a madman in some European white woman's basement in New York City. Sometimes music is known to climb over border fences, to not ask for permission to penetrate the ego. Now garbage city workers in Mexico City listen to classical Italian music. Maybe that gives them something to live for. I've heard too many say that Carlos Santana, what made them make love to their wives. Music is the home to those that have no home. The border is always omnipresent. I've never seen an oppressor pick up a trumpet. Only Paris, Mexico City, New York, Moscow, and some other country said they never knew what music was. And this is the worst downtown yet. In Mexico City, Ayotzinapa, close to the Plaza de las Tres Culturas, her hand softer than the corn tortillas that slap against the tongues of Mexicans. She told me that the last toy her father gave her was a plastic duck. She then kissed me like I was going to help her escape Mexico, help her escape Latin America, escape. In Montreal, we cry for 30 minutes. Then I go into a cold airport and a Haitian woman gives me a blanket. And the Haitian woman gives me a blanket. In Colombia, they migrate, the mariposas, drunk in shame and obligations, transcending the shame that pours on our graceless curses. Look to your left, you will have the Louvre Museum of Modern Art. Look to your right, and you will see Gabriel Garcia Marquez coming into Paris in the 1970s. He had nothing better to do. He told it like it was. He tells it like it is. Me recuerdo que había tortillas por todos lados, gasolina y más gasolina. They migrate. And it looked like San Francisco wasn't speaking English. Abuelitas preferred to go back to Mexico City than stay cleaning a white man's toilets. This is the cure to poverty, to make yourself feel like a pyramid. I deserve Paris, he tells me, because the world laughed at me. Maybe the oil painting started to go to hell. When you know I'm dead, don't say my name, because then death and peace would have to wait. Your voice, the bell of your five senses would form, the thin beam of light my mist would be looking for. When you know I'm dead, say other words. Say flower, bee, teardrop, red, storm. Don't let your lips find my 11 letters. I'm sleepy, I've loved, I've earned silence. Don't say my name when you know I'm dead. Don't say my name when you know I'm dead. Cuando sepas que he muerto. He says he likes Mexico, especially all that history. That's what I understood, although my French is not that good, and wants to talk about US racism. It's not often that he meets Mexicans in the south of France. He remembers the Mexican Marlon Brando once on French TV, how in Westerns, the Mexicans are always the bad guys. And is it true all Mexicans carry knives? I laugh. Lucky for you, I'm not carrying my knife today. He laughs too. I think the knife he carries abstracts. San Francisco, y más San Francisco, y más San Francisco. I'm going to end with a poem about Black Lives Matter when we shut down the downtown San Francisco.